The extreme cold gripping the GTA is especially dangerous for vulnerable populations like those experiencing homelessness. For more on that, we're joined live by Toronto's Associate Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Howard Shapiro. Thanks for being with us today, Doctor.
You're welcome.
You know, thinking on kind of a household level, we know what the concerns are, how to prepare. You're worried about frostbite, you bundle up. But I wonder at kind of a city level, what your concerns are, how you're preparing.
So the city anticipates cold weather every year, and the city has a cold weather response plan that coordinates the activities of different parts of the city that's reviewed every year before winter. And then the different parts, Toronto Public Health, Toronto Shelter Support and Housing, Animal Services, a whole bunch of different parts of the city then respond according to their various roles when there's cold weather like this.
And we know that those warming centers have opened up. There's also that surge center that's also opened up right now. I wonder what kind of a demand you're seeing for those services.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, you're speaking to the guy from the health department and not the person from shelters, so I don't have that information with me.
And I wonder why it's important for you to see that there are at least those services offered at this time when, we do see, we were just looking at images there of people outside in such cold conditions.
Yes, so when it's very cold, the time it takes to run into a health problem from the cold, like frostbite or hypothermia, decreases. So the colder it is, the less time it takes. And certainly, somebody can try and do things like wear more clothing or bundling up. But really, the best thing is to go someplace that's warm. So that's why things like the warming centers, shelters, drop-ins are vitally important for people so that they can get a break and not be outside for hours or longer at a time.
And I wonder what your concerns are for things like frostbite. What kind of warnings you can give us, how long we should be outside for with skin exposed?
Well, I would say as little as possible. Really, you should try and cover up any exposed skin as best you can and do other things, obviously wear things like a hat, use gloves, use mittens and not gloves, dress in layers. You just heard from the previous clip that it's windy, so try and have your most outside layer be something that's windproof, for example, and also have very warm footwear like boots, because usually it's your extremities that are going to get frostbite first, things like fingers, toes, your nose, for example.
Tragically, when we see temperatures dip like this, we see people looking to different alternatives to heat their homes. Maybe they need an extra boost in there to stay warm. Tragically, though, that sometimes results in fires that we see around in the dead of winter. I wonder what your advice is for people who might be feeling cold inside, how to stay warm inside, but really avoid those risks of fires and other dangers.
Well, I think you should try and use the actual heating system that you have in place in your house and do it to a level that's comfortable for you. You have to be very careful when you do anything like fires or space heaters or using your stove. I would try and avoid those other sources of warmth than actually using what's available to you from your home's own heating system.
Thanks for that. Appreciate the advice. That is Toronto's Associate Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Howard Shapiro, joining us live here today. Thanks so much for that.